Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Bex, am here today to share my nonfiction November to be read pile with you. This is a reading initiative that I have participated in for a number of years now. However, it is the last year that Olive from A Book Olive is officially hosting it. So I wanted to make sure that I made a video to sort of commemorate this moment and say, yes, I am officially participating in Nonfiction November for at least one more time. For those of you that are familiar with Nonfiction November, you'll know that Olive always comes up with a few reading prompts, and I always like to follow those. I read a lot of nonfiction anyway, so reading it for an entire month is not a big deal. So I like following those prompts because it gets me to pick up different books that are sitting on my TBR bookcase. So I'm going to share the 4 books that I plan to read in November in order to fulfill these prompts. The first prompt is code, so I've gone with the idea of a code of law, and I'll be reading Fight of the Century, Writers Reflect on 100 Years of Landmark ACLU Cases. This is edited by Michael Chabon and Ayelet Waldman. This book brings together a number of different writers, and each writer has a specific landmark court case that they're looking at, reflecting on. Some of the reflections are apparently very personal. For example, Jasmine Ward talks about what it was like growing up in Mississippi as a Black teenager with all of the racial profiling and policing. So that'll be a particularly difficult essay, whereas some of the other ones seem like they're going to be just more analysis. But some of the other writers that are in here are Meg Wolitzer, Yaa Gyasi, Britt Bennett, Salman Rushdie, George Saunders. So a lot of famous writers, some of whom I've read from before, some I never have, but I thought this is perfect for this prompt, and it is the kind of book that I can just pick up and put down, read little snippets of throughout the entire month, so that's good. One of the things that you have to do with these sort of challenges, at least I do, is that I have to have different kinds of reads in order to try to fit them in all in one month, because I don't usually read 4 books in a month these days. Prompt number 2 is path, and for that I've gone with a very obvious connection of a walking path or a hiking trail. This is Beyond Belfast, a 560-mile walk across Northern Ireland on sore feet. This is written by Will Ferguson, and this is a book that has been on my TBR bookcase for years. I have to finish it for this Nonfiction November because I'm tired of looking at it on my shelves. I want it to be in the read pile. I want to feel the success of actually finishing this book after staring at it for so long. So in this book, Will travels to Northern Ireland and walks the Ulster Way, which at least at the time of publication of this book, it was the longest waymarked trail in the British Isles. He's doing this right at the turn of the new millennium, so like 2000, 2001 or so, and Northern Ireland is in a state of relative peace. So it's going to be reflecting on that, talking about the landscapes, political culture, the pubs, the people, the food, all of that. And so that is at least a chunk of this book. It does also apparently cover another time that Will went back to Northern Ireland in 2008 to sort of dig into his family's history, because he is the grandson of a man who was an orphan in Belfast once upon a time. So we have the very literal path of the Ulster Way, and then I guess we sort of have a more metaphorical path of him following, tracing his family history back to Northern Ireland. So hopefully this is good, because I've been holding on to it for a really long time. The third prompt is shot, and for this I have gone the medical route. So I'm going to be reading a book about the doctors Blackwell, how 2 pioneering sisters brought medicine to women and women to medicine, and this is by Janice P. Nimura. So this looks at Elizabeth and Emily Blackwell. Elizabeth was the first woman in America to earn an MD, and that was in 1849. Her sister soon followed. This looks at their story, talks about their enemies, their allies, and their enduring partnership as sisters who also happen to be doctors. They did open the first hospital that was entirely staffed by women, but it sounds like they didn't always see eye to eye about different things. So I imagine this will be very interesting to me because I love medical nonfiction. So hopefully it'll be a good balance between talking about the sisters themselves and also just some of the medical stuff that was happening during that time period. The final prompt is join. And for this, I've decided to listen to an audiobook because, as I mentioned, I need a variety of reads in order to guarantee success. And yeah, so I could hopefully read 3 physical books. I could definitely listen to at least 1 audiobook. So my choice for this is They Can't Kill Us All, The Story of Black Lives Matter by Wesley Lowery. This is a book that I don't own physically, but it's been on my Goodreads want to read list since 2017. So it's been there for quite some time. I've got the audiobook ready to go, and I thought it would fit this prompt really well because I'm thinking of it as joining a movement, and this talks about Black Lives Matter, which has definitely become a movement. In this book, the author travels around the US and interviews a lot of different people on various topics surrounding like police brutality, racial profiling, segregated neighborhoods, failing schools, and talks about the idea of civil unrest as one of the tools to reach justice. I think this will be an interesting read because it was published before the murder of George Floyd happened, so this book sort of exists in a response to what happened with Michael Brown. So to read it 8 years later, knowing everything that's happened since then, that could be really hard, but I do think it'll be interesting. Those are the 4 books I would like to try and read for NonFiction November. If you are participating, please let me know what you're planning on reading in the comments below. And you could also let me know if you have anything particular that you want to say about the books that I'm about to pick up. Let me know what you thought of them. As always, all the links are in the down bar, so you can go check those out if you feel so inclined. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you later.